All right, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for everyone's patience. We had a few technical difficulties, but we are now on, and we're going to go ahead and call to order our October 11th Practice and Education Committee meeting. First on the agenda is for me to take the call, and I will start with Dr. Stacy Bragg, present, Dr. Joe Pruitt, here, and Dr. Lillian Wong here. We are all here. We have quorum. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 2, which is public comment for items not on the agenda. Do we have any members of the public here in the room? We have no members of the public in the room. Madam Moderator, do we have any public members that are online?
This is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. The instructions will be on your screen shortly. If you would like to participate, click on the Q&A the question mark inside of the square bottom right corner of your WebEx screen and type the word comment in the text field. Or you can also raise your hand by clicking on the outline of a hand, which is at the bottom center of your WebEx screen. At this time, I see no requests for public comment. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to move on to item number 3, which is discussion and possible action of the June 14th, 2024 Education Committee draft meeting minutes. Are there any comments from members of the committee on the meeting minutes from June 14th, 2024? I have negatives from both Dr. Bragg and Dr. Pruitt. I have no comments either. Could I get a motion to pass? Oh, I'm sorry.
I guess you can do a motion and then do public comments.
Okay, so I'm going to do a motion to approve the minutes from June 14th, 2024. I have a motion from Dr. Bragg, a second from Dr. Pruitt. Could I get public comment from, we have no members of the public in the room. Madam Moderator, are there any members of the public online?
Yes, this is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. Again, the instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you would like to participate, click on that question mark, type the word comment, and send it to all panelists. Or you can raise your hand by clicking on the outline of a hand. No requests at this time. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, please. All right, we're now going to have a roll call vote. Dr. Bragg? Aye. Dr. Pruitt? Aye. Dr. Wong? Aye. Motion passes. We will now move on to item number 4, which is discussion and possible action on continuing education course approval requests pursuant to Title 16, Section 1536. So we have items 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D, 4E, and 4F, 4G, and 4H. Dr. Bragg, Dr. Pruitt, do you have any comments about any of the items on the agenda? 4A through.
Why don't we start with 4A?
Okay, we'll start with 4A.
Go through each letter.
So do we have any comments about items under item number 4A?
As far as 4A, I noticed that it was from courses in 2021. That there was notation that somehow the courses were submitted a little later, so I don't know if this is for approval to use them again in the future. Or if it's from previous back in 21, they're seeking the approval.
I think he's seeking approval of the courses that were in the past because his check.
February 2021.
Yes.
Because he sent a check in. I think it's like past approval.
Yep.
All right. Dr. Pruitt, any comments on items 4A?
No.
So I'm going to go through all the items first, and then we'll do a motion to pass or not pass. That's okay with you guys. All right, so let's go ahead with item number 4B on the agenda. Dr. Bragg, Dr. Pruitt, do you have any comments about this one?
For me, this one seemed like it was a business management course that the board doesn't accept.
So I think it could come under miscellaneous, right?
Well, under 1536A, it says business management courses not accepted by the board.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right. And they had also approved it or applied for it as being ocular disease. So I think we would have to then deny this one for any kind of continuing education credit.
4B.
That's 4B. Let's go ahead with item number 4C. Does anyone have any comments about anything under 4C?
I think that for these, they did pick the category of practice care management. Maybe it's your disease, better category.
I'm sorry, for 4C3?
For 4C1 and,
I think they did the same thing for, so.
yeah,
So I think under, I don't know if that was like staff, that on the very first page that we received, they actually checked the ocular disease box, but the person who applied selected patient care management.
Right.
So that was my question also. I think we should approve 4C1 and 4C3 as being ocular disease
okay.
and not the patient care management. So I don't know, is that okay? So
Yes.
they applied for one, but we're giving them another designation?
Yes, because this committee's
Okay.
purview and authority to determine the appropriate category.
So we'll have a couple of different motions. So we'll approve, I guess, items 4C1 through 4, but the only thing we're going to change is instead of making items 4C1 and 4C3 patient care management, we've decided to give them the designation of ocular disease. We're all okay with that?
Yeah.
I did have a question though on, 4C4,
Mhm.
the speaker on, it was in the CV, there was this disclosure that he's a speaker for Genentech, but on the initial slide there wasn't, I don't know if we have anything as far as.
Disclosure.
Like on that.
Oh, he did put a disclosure?
What's that?
He didn't put a disclosure on?
Not on the slide, but in the listing of, on the CV. that
It says it.
Yeah, and it was highlighted, but in the actual slide. The interesting thing though is it's a novel treatment.
Yeah.
So there isn't, I mean, and you did touch on why other treatments are maybe lacking. So I mean, there isn't, I don't feel like that was the only thing that.
Yeah, I guess you mean, but speakers usually do put a slide up.
Right.
Disclosing their,
Yeah.
right, do we want to,
Yeah, as far as course,
right.
everything, I think it's.
right, so, but I think we really just do content, we don't really do their disclosure, so it's going to just be up to him. So, I guess technically, we're still going to approve the course then. All right, we are now going to move on to item number 4D, as in David. Anyone have any comments about item 4D? How about items 4E, 1 through 5? There. Go through here? Okay, we're now moving on.
4E5, the pediatric ocular surface disease, they had it as general, but I thought it could be under ocular disease.
No.
And then this was also another one where they had applied for patient care management, but I think they all qualify.
We want to.
For with the amblyopia versus keratoconus, that one is general.
Yes. Okay. So we want to keep all the categorizations for items 4E1 through 4 as applied, and then we're going to change 4E5 from general to ocular disease. Okay with that?
I would also just add, I think looking at this one, they've put it down as self-study. In one place it says self-study, but it might, in another place it also says live and interactive.
Right, so so if we approve it, and if it's live or self-study, because they can always put it online and it could then become a self-study.
That's true. They could put a live and interact. You could record the webinar and then put it online. It would become self-study.
And then,
If the webinar is offered in real time, it would be live and interactive.
right, because I think this was part of a meeting that they, is this when that happened already, or is it August 2024, I think, is when this,
Yes, it's presented in August of 2024.
Right.
And
so,
it says the lecture is presented live and in person.
right, because I think it was a conference that everyone.
So then they're recording it and then it becomes self-study, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I was
Gotcha.
thinking.
Okay.
Right, 'cause
That makes sense to me.
they gave us their whole, like schedule for the day, and it was on the
Okay.
schedule.
So it's probably correct then to be self-study.
All right, so now we're looking at item number 4F, 1 through 4. Does anyone have any comments about that?
I had a question about this one. So in the description,
Which one?
says, for all, for the
Okay.
series, because it's, for Kaiser, it says
Yes.
3-4 ESC local 20 optometry unit members only. So I don't know if it's offered to the general public and they have to pay, or it was just only the Kaiser
Kaiser doc.
and it's free for them. So there was, how it read, it could be, I'm not sure. And I tried to look, but because it had already passed, it's in September, to find information about that, if it was open to all optometrists.
I don't know, so does Kaiser, when they provide continuing education courses to their docs, is it always open? Do we know? I mean, doesn't look just in their.
That is a question we can certainly have staff follow up with.
Because they did select on the application that it was open to all optometrists, but when you read the description,
It sounds like it's for Kaiser.
yeah, it doesn't, but it could be, it's open to everyone, but other non-Kaiser may have to pay $50 or something to register, or, yeah, I'm not really sure, it's a little vague.
I think from what I'm hearing you say, Member Bragg, is from the committee's perspective, that disclosure would be important, right? If for some folks it's free, but other folks might have to pay, is that what you're?
Or if it was even open to anybody.
Or just open?
Yeah, as long as it's open, whether you have to pay or not, that's fine, but if it's only for Kaiser members.
Sure.
So then maybe we table item 4F and see if staff could reach out to find out if this was actually, because they checked on their application that was open to everyone, but looking at the description, it looks like it was only available to Kaiser docs.
Yeah,
We
when
can-
they submitted, it says,
We can make a note of that, follow up, and so then the committee would need to reconsider that one probably.
So maybe we will bring item 4F, 1 through 4, back to our next PEC meeting.
could we say approved upon confirmation it was open?
Do that? Brendan, could we just?
Council, we have a CE course, 4 or 5 CE courses where it's a little unclear whether it was open to all optometrists or whether it was limited to just Kaiser optometrists. We would like to follow up with Kaiser on that, or on the applicant, with the applicant on that question. This event has already happened. Is it possible to approve these courses pending that discussion with Kaiser, or must we
Bring it back.
table it, have that discussion, and bring it back?
It would make more sense just to table it and
Okay.
bring it back. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's a time requirement to approve CE courses, correct?
Well, I mean, the course already happened. It happened in
Yeah.
September, so
So I don't think there's like a deadline, though, that like on the statute that you guys have to.
No, there's not a hard deadline under statute, but we, I think, do generally want to approve courses. I think it's either 45 or 60 days
Yeah,
within the date that they happened.
yeah.
So we're still, we're only a month away from when the event happened, so we could table it and bring it back. We would probably have to schedule another PEC to do it, but I can also share that I'm aware we've received some Ds and new applications for CE courses in the last week for course approval. So I think we could table it and come back. Yeah,
All right.
Most straightforward way.
yeah.
Okay. So let's
for-
go ahead and table items 4F, 1 through 4 until our next PEC meeting. And then hopefully staff can reach out and find out if this was accessible to the public, to the public, and not just Kaiser Doc. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to item number 4G. Does anybody have any comments about the 2 items in 4G? No. And then what about items under 4H?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another business one. So then that one also is going to be denied because it's business. They apply for it under, so if item 4H2, how much is your eye care practice worth? That's basically a practice management one. So we're going to deny credit for item 4.2, but we're okay with items number 4H1, 4H3, and 4H4.
So I think they apply for general.
Or the retinal detachment and vitreoretinal interface.
Treatment.
And we want to give them ocular disease for both of those?
For eye, at least,
Yeah, for eye, I would be, I would be okay with doing ocular disease, but retinal detachment management in children, I would be okay with just doing general. All right, so we want to change this one.
Can you repeat that for my notes, please?
Yes, so for item 4H1, evolving treatments for macular degeneration and diabetic macular edema, they applied general, and we're going to assign ocular disease for that one.
Okay.
But then we had also looked at items 4H3 and 4, and we're going to keep them as general, as applied.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to make I'm going to make a motion for each item under 4, item number 4 on the agenda, because there's a couple of changes.
Correct.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion to approve items 4A1 and 4A2. And,
Brendan, can we do a motion in a section? We're going to take these by letter, 4A, then 4B, then can we do a motion in a second for each one and then vote on them? Or do we need to do a motion in a second, vote on 4A, then a motion in a second on 4B, vote on it?
I would say each motion needs a vote.
Got it.
Each
Okay.
motion needs a vote and public comment.
Got it. Okay.
so can I make the motion or do one of them?
It can come from any member.
Okay, so I'm just gonna, so I'll make the motions and okay, so I just made a motion to approve items under 4A, and Dr. Bragg seconded the motion.
You can
Can do public comment then?
yeah, but there's no members of the public in the room, so you can just make that statement and
Right.
vote it online.
Okay. So there's no members of the public in the room. Madam Moderator, could you check to see if there's any members of the public online and if they have a comment?
Moderator, the is now open. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you would like to participate, click on that question mark inside of the square, typically bottom right corner of the WebEx screen, and type the word comment in the text field. Make sure it goes to all panelists before clicking that send button. You can also raise your hand by clicking on the outline of a hand, typically bottom center of your WebEx screen. At this time, I have no requests. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. Let's go ahead and take a vote to approve item 4A on the agenda. Dr. Bragg? Aye. Dr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Dr. Wong? Aye. Motion passes. We are now going to go on to item number 4B on the agenda. I'm going to make a motion to approve item 4B, but we are going to change the categorization from ocular disease to miscellaneous. Oh, no.
No,
I'm
4B
sorry.
4B is practice management.
Okay.
I think you're.
I'm sorry, I'm going to make my notes are all over the place, so sorry. All right, so for item number 4B, we are going to actually deny the application for continuing education for item 4B because it is a practice management course and that is not currently allowed under our statute. So I need a
motion.
I made a motion to deny item 4B. Can I get a second?
Second.
Dr. Pruitt seconds it. There are no members of the public in our room. Madam Moderator, if you could check online to see if we have any members of the public and if they have a comment.
This is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you would like to participate, click that question mark, type comment, send it to all panelists, or click on the outline of a hand. At this time, I see no requests. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. I'm going to go ahead and do a roll call vote. Dr. Bragg? Aye. Dr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Dr. Wong? Aye. Motion passes. We are now going to move on to item 4C of the agenda. So I have a couple of changes for item 4C. So for item 4C, I'm going to make a motion to pass items 4C 1 through 4. We are going to change the categorization of item 4C1 and 4C3 to patient management, patient care management. We're going to approve item 4C2 with its current application as ocular disease, and we're going to approve item 4C4 as ocular disease. So the change is going to be for item 4C1 and 4C3. They're going to be changed from ocular disease to patient care management. Can I get a second for my motion? Seconded by Dr. Bragg. There are no members of the public in the room. Madam Moderator, if you could check the online to see if we have any members of the public and if they have any comments.
Yes, this is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you would like to participate, click on that question mark inside a square, type comments, send it to all panelists, or click on the outline of a hand. At this time, I see no requests. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, please. I'm now going to do a roll call vote. Dr. Bragg?
Aye.
Dr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Dr. Wong? Aye. Motion passes. So, okay. I'm now going to make a motion to pass item 4D on the agenda. Can I get a second?
Second.
Dr. Pruitt seconds. There are no members of the public in the room with us. Madam Moderator, if you could check online, please.
This is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. Again, click on the question mark, type comments, send it to all panelists, or click on the outline of a hand. No requests at this time. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. Thank you. I am now going to do a roll call vote. Dr. Bragg? Aye. Dr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Dr. Wong? Aye. Motion passes. We are now going on to agenda item 4E. I'm going to make a motion to pass items in 4E 1 through 5 with the change that item 4E5 changes from general to ocular disease, the ocular disease category. Can I get a second for my motion? Dr. Bragg is seconding the motion. There are no members of the public in the room with us. Madam Moderator, if you could check online.
The Q&A is now open. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you would like to participate, click the question mark, type comments, send it to all panelists, or click on the outline of a hand. No request for public comment. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. Thank you. I am going to do a roll call vote. Dr. Bragg? Aye. Dr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Dr. Wong? Aye. Motion passes. I am now going to make a motion for items 4F on the agenda, 4F 1 through 4. We are going to table this item until our next PEC meeting, and we're going to wait to find out if this series of continuing education courses was available to the public or if it was only available to Kaiser employees. Can I get a second for my motion?
Second.
Is that okay?
Do we need a motion to
Table it?
we're not
You know what?
Approving-
It doesn't hurt.
oh, okay.
All right, I made the motion to put off or table item 4F 1 through 4 and until our next PEC meeting, and Dr. Pruitt seconded. There are no members of the public in the room with us. Madam Moderator, if you could check online, please.
Yes, this is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. The instructions are on the screen. Click on that question mark, type the word comment, send it to all panelists, or click on the outline of a hand. At this time, I see no requests. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. I will do a roll call vote. Dr. Bragg? Aye. Dr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Dr. Wong? Aye. Motion passes. We are now going to move on to item 4G on the agenda. I'm going to make a motion to approve items 4G. Can I get a second? Oh, Dr. Bragg has seconded my motion. There are no members of the public in the room with us. Madam Moderator, if you could check online, please.
Yes, this is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you would like to participate, click on that question mark, type the word comments, send it to all panelists, or click on the outline of a hand. No request. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. Thank you. I'm going to do a roll call vote. Dr. Bragg? Aye. Dr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Dr. Wong? Aye. Motion passes. And now we're going to come up with item 4H. Going to make a motion to approve items 4H1 through 4H4. In this motion, we are going to change items 4H1 and 4H2 from,
The
I'm sorry.
is being denied.
My notes are, sorry, I'm going to make my motion again. I'm going to make a motion to approve items 4H1, 4H3, 4H4. We are going to change the designation of 4H1 from general to ocular disease. And also in this motion, we are going to deny item 4H2 because it is a business course and that is not currently allowed. So we will approve 5 items 4H1, 4H3, 4H4 with the addition of changing categorization of 4H1 from general to ocular disease. Could I get a second for my motion?
Second.
Dr. Pruitt seconds. Again, there are no members of the public in the room with us. Madam Moderator, if you could check online to see if anyone has a comment.
Yes, this is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. Click on that question mark inside the square, type the word comments, send it to all panelists, or click on the outline of a hand. There are no requests at this time. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, please. We are now going to do a roll call vote. Dr. Bragg.
Aye.
Dr. Pruitt.
Aye.
Dr. Wong. Aye. Motion passes. We are now going on to item number 5, which is future agenda items. Are there any items, any topics that either one of you would like to add to our future agenda for the next PEC meeting? I have no from Drs. Pruitt and Bragg. Do I have to public comment? Okay.
That's a good idea, Council. We probably should do that. I know later today at our board meeting, we are considering setting the 25 calendar, but we do not have, I don't believe, any other PEC meetings scheduled for the remainder of this year. But given the tabling of those 4 courses and the other courses that I made reference to that we just received recently, probably a good idea to try to schedule another one between now and the end of the year. So,
can we do it at when we're talking about all the other meetings later on, or should we do it right now? Should we do it now?
I think we don't need to set this. I think we may just want to talk about it.
You can talk about your availability, and then we can do the public notice.
The board meeting item for later is specific to 2025.
Okay.
So I think we want to look at dates maybe, and this could be done. This could be done remotely.
Okay. So if we're looking at the calendar, especially since we did put off item number 4F, if we do a Friday morning, since we usually do our PEC meetings on a Friday morning, and since we already have items to review, do we want to look at, well, our next board meeting is either going to be the 6th or the 13th, and then we get into the holidays. So I'm looking like November. So that would really only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like maybe 6 weeks away. The 15th of 2nd.
So we do it before a board meeting, like, or is that when we're going to be starting at 9?
One of the things we need to still figure out is when exactly that December meeting is.
Yeah.
But I think sometime in November would work.
So if we look at the 15th or the 22nd.
The 22nd would be.
Not available on the 22nd.
Okay.
What about the 15th?
15th.
Can
Okay.
we do the 15th?
You can't do the 15th? Well, we need 2 of 3 for quorum. I am not available the 15th.
All right. So then we're looking at the 22nd. So Dr. Bragg, are you available on the 22nd? All right. I'm available on,
Okay. I'm not available the 8th either. Well, we don't have to set
Okay.
it today.
All right, so-
We'll follow up after this meeting but maybe the 22nd,
Yeah.
maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're thinking tentatively November 22nd might be our next PEC meeting, but we will confirm that.
No.
We can always do it on a different day also. So we can talk about it, but maybe the 22nd or a different day. Okay.
I have Monday and Tuesday of that week, so the 18th and 19th I'd be available.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the 19th. But it would have to be like at
Lunch hour
9.
or 9.
I can't. I
Okay.
never have time at lunch. Maybe at 9.
So what I'll do is I'll follow up with a couple of these dates that
All right.
have been mentioned.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah, it'll be
remote.
remote.
So, and it's just an hour, I can do it
Okay, on the 22nd.
on the 22nd.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be remote. Okay, so maybe we're again looking probably maybe the 22nd, but we will follow up on that.
Yep.
Tentative. So we also now have no members of the public in the room with us. Madam Moderator, if you could check online to see if there's any members of the public that have comments about future agenda items. Madam Moderator, can you hear us? Hello?
This is the moderator.
Madam- oh. Go ahead. We're wanting you to check for public comment online.
This is the moderator. I apologize for the network connectivity issues here. Was I requested to open up for public comment?
Yes. Public comment online for future items, on future agenda items.
This is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. The instructions are on the screen for your reference. If you would like to participate, click on that question mark, type the word comment, or click on the outline of a hand. At this time, there are no requests for public. Would you like me to?
Yes, please. We are now going to move on to item number 6, which is adjournment. I thank everybody for attending, and I also thank everybody for their patience with all of our IT issues today. And we look forward to seeing everybody at the next TEC meeting. We are done. Thank you.